But for this week, we're going to focus on the NFL draft as it's coming up a month away. Like I said, we're doing, just to get this reminder out there, just everybody, I usually say this at the end, I'm going to say it at the beginning. We're doing a live stream of the first round of the NFL draft. It's going to be us three, and then Jordan will be in here, and we're going to have a couple other special guests, I think, come hang out. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Might do a giveaway. Probably need to talk more about that with Joe off air, but let's just, hey, we're all friends here. We're all in the Possum gang.
Let's talk about it right now.
What you got to give away, Joe?
What's our giveaway? Oh, man. So our Jerry Jeudy video is extremely popular, and I suggest you guys go listen to that now that Russell Wilson is down there, and Jerry Jeudy is literally going to go to the moon like we were talking about in this. It was on YouTube, right? YouTube video. So in honor of that, I will be dreaming up something special for a autographed Jerry Jeudy Alabama jersey, and it is sick. And I'm really upset. I want to put it up in my house, but I got to give it to the Possums.
Honestly,
we're all one castle here, guys.
Can I join that though? Because I really want it as well.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to enter in case I win.
Yeah. You're not eligible.
That would probably be the cheapest route. Thanks, Nico.
We're
gonna drive it over to your fucking house.
Well, you should have driven it. Oh, not driven it. Flew it over to Nico. You should have gone to Germany.
Dude, with the way customs was about that package, I don't think they would have let me through.
It was a very sketchy jersey because it was the Antonio Browns.
Yeah, probably are like, why is somebody mailing this to Germany?
Like, you gonna throw a couch at somebody? Like, what?
So anyway, we'll get more information out to everybody to what we're actually going to do, what you have to do to earn this jersey. More on that later.
You got to pay for shipping, okay?
No, we're not paying for shipping.
Joe, no. If you live in Europe, we will discuss whether or not you pay for shipping.
No, you're not paying for shipping. We love you, Possum.
We'll talk about it.
Fair enough. Okay. But anyway, we're going to be doing a live stream. Come hang out that night. We'll start right as the draft starts. We're going to go the whole 3.5 hours. It's going to be a long stream. But just come hang out. We'll have a lot of fun, and we're going to talk some NFL draft. So without further ado, let's get on to this mock draft.
So much
2.0. We've had a lot of movement in this first draft. We probably should have brought up the other draft so that we could see how much of a change certain picks were, but we're going to just start with the Jaguars and work our way down. So
hey, time out, Billy, but before we get into this real quick, you brought up the Instagram folks that hated the draft.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to hate on our drafts, at least provide some discussion as to why. Don't just say it's trash, man. We want to talk to you. We want to have an intelligent conversation because we can both learn something out of this. So talk about it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Also, I actually have the original draft, and our mock drafts. I know I've seen all three of our mock drafts at this point. Obviously, we're going to make our combined one, but it's not that much different. I mean, there's a couple risers and fallers, but I mean, I don't think it's that far off. Like, we weren't, for what the information we had at the time, I don't think it was that far off.
Yeah.
That was before all those massive trades went down too. So
yeah, that kind of tipped the scales on certain picks. So
that sunk our battleship, if you will.
It did. So, all right, let's get this draft started. Press start so they can say that we're going. And Jaguars are on the clock. I'm not particularly convinced that this is a controversial pick now. I think we're all in the boat of this being Aiden Hutchinson. Does anybody here want to make a case for somebody else? Or we just
I would like to talk about this for a second. Y'all called me crazy thinking that I was, the Jaguars are going to go with Evan Neal, blah, blah, blah. No, they're going to go for generational talent. They're going to get Aiden Hutchinson, the best person in the draft here. Obviously, they made some moves to where it's a little bit more obvious. So
yeah, they signed their left tackle back. That's kind of why we.
I didn't see
going to do that.
Josh, before you take your little victory lap here,
I already did. I'm good.
I know. I'm gonna shut you down there for a second. I agree that this is the pick for them, but they just signed Arden Key today, which is probably edge depth. They have Chassian on that roster, and they have Josh Allen on that roster. So they're really loading up on edge before the draft even comes around. So could we be looking at a sneaky pick that we're not even talking about now? Could we be looking at an Icky or someone like that in this spot? Because you could move him over to guard, and you would have your line locked down forever.
I don't think so. I think
it could
franchise tag's 1 year, man.
Yeah, but none of their defensive none of their I completely agree, but they can get an offensive lineman in the next draft. I just don't think that the number one pick overall, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Icky or Evan Neal are bad tackles, which he's kind of slipped down the board we'll talk about, but Aiden Hutchinson is the best defensive lineman in the draft here. Like
I agree.
you're getting your Nick Bosa.
I still think it's
if
Kayvon
you will.
Thibodeau, but that's that's.
I agree that Kayvon Thibodeau should be up there, but I'm just saying, like, you want someone who's going to be that generational talent. You don't want a great offensive tackle. Like, that's not the splashy move Doug Peterson's making on his way in.
I understand that. It was shocking when I heard that they signed Arden Key today, though, because he's no slouch. I mean, he actually plays pretty well.
No, but okay, we're just going Aiden Hutchinson. Let's move on to the next pick because I think there's a little bit more to discuss with that one. So, Aiden Hutchinson off the board. Welcome to the Jaguars, Doug Peterson. Have fun. All right, here's where we're at with the Lions. So we all kind of originally thought Kyle Hamilton. This is a lock. That's a generational safety. Derwin James 2.0, like he's got all these accolades, but
I still think
and I still think it too, but everyone else out there is saying that there's no way they take Kyle Hamilton. They're saying there's a chance that it's Trayvon Walker because he's been killing it lately. There's a chance it could be a quarterback. I've seen Malik Willis up there a couple of times just because people are freaked out about quarterbacks all the time when it comes to the draft. So I think we're going to land on Kyle Hamilton because it sounds like 2 out of 3. But Joe, make your case.
So Trayvon Walker has tested out of his freaking shoes, and he's aggressive as hell when he plays. Dan Campbell loves guys with this type of attitude on their team, and he could immediately come in, especially after they released Trey Flowers this offseason. He can be a great building piece down in the trenches for Detroit. I do not think that any team is taking a safety, even though Kyle Hamilton, I think he's probably one of the top 3 players in this draft. I don't think anyone's taken him in the top 5. The last safety to be drafted in the top 5 was Eric Berry. And when he came out, everyone and their mother knew that he was the most talented player in this draft. And he even slipped in that regard there too. That was in 2010. So 12 years, I'm not liking the odds here. I don't think Hamilton goes at 2.
Safeties aren't the most highly picked in the draft. So the problem is, as Billy had said many times, that this isn't a very elite draft. There's good players, but they're not all phenomenally great. I could see the Lions trading down out of this pick to get a quarterback. I don't know who they would do that with, but somebody might want, whoever slips to number 2, and maybe somebody does want Kyle Hamilton there. Maybe someone wants Thibodeau there. Maybe someone wants one of the best tackles in the game there. So I could see them trading down because I don't think a quarterback's going as high as 2. I don't.
I think that would be one of the craziest things. The only problem I have with Trayvon Walker is just like in college, he was not a sack guy. He was not like he was a great player, but he was not really like getting any of the like major plays that you would need to, make yourself the number 2 pick in the draft. I'm not positive why, his interviews and him running around in shorts. I don't know why this has made him a potential number 2 pick. Kayvon Thibodeau was literally better. I think he's better than Aiden Hutchinson. I think he's more natural at the position, to be personally. Aiden Hutchinson just works his butt off. Kayvon Thibodeau is a freak of nature. He's a really good edge rusher, and he's way better than Trayvon Walker. So I don't really know why we're in this situation where we have to make these arguments, but I still think they go with the best talent on the board, and that's Kyle Hamilton to me. And it sounds like Josh is it, so I think we're just going to go with
Kyle. I do not understand why Trayvon Walker slipped off the board. He did nothing in college of note other than be on a good team.
And I mean, Georgia was an all-time great defense last year. I don't think Trayvon Walker was the top 3 reason why that defense was that way. But
if Trayvon Walker gets drafted that high, whoever or above Kayvon Thibodeau, man, that's the Thibodeau team's going to be just having a great time.
Okay, here's my thing, though. When I was doing this draft, I was very much between Walker and I wanted to get Sauce in this spot so bad. I mean, there's
been some rumblings for
they missed on the cornerback 2 years ago, last year. They missed on him. Having someone like him that's just an absolute lockdown on the outside would be huge for that defense. I just don't think safety is their biggest need.
I could see Sauce being there because they've been looking to replace Slay since he's left. So I would be okay with that, but I'm still going to vote Kyle Hamilton.
All right.
Slotting in Hamilton. I can see why there's arguments against it, though.
Sauce Gardner
Still
has
think-
gone up the draft board, which is awesome to see.
He has, and I think we'll get to him pretty soon. But for now, we're going with the Texans, who PFF still has needs every position.
I love that it says every
It's
position.
just hilarious to me. They literally need everything on the board. So we find ourselves at Mr. Ike Ekwonu. I think this is the lock. I think this is one of the only picks that you are locked in. The Texans have not made any secret about them liking Ike Ekwonu this entire draft process. I think that's who they end up choosing. What did you guys go with?
Joe went Icky as well. I put Kayvon Thibodeau. I think this is where that slide and all the rumblings and rumors stop. I don't think that they got another pick in what? How many picks?
13.
10. So 10 picks. They can grab a tackle there. They can get Cross or I don't know, Trevor Penning. I mean, there's Lindbaum. There's some offensive line they can get. And when you need an entire offensive line other than Laramie Tunsil, I think they'll be fine with going and grabbing, Kayvon Thibodeau, someone to make their defense at least explosive, make their team worth watching, sell some jerseys.
It would bring excitement.
It would. Houston's been on Ekwonu a long time. I can't see why they would go otherwise at this point.
I think you take Ekwonu there and bookend him with Tunsil, and then you don't have to worry about the line for a long time, and you can address your team. I mean, if they really think Davis Mills is the answer, then you got to protect him. And then even if he is not the answer, you're probably going to have a pretty high draft slot next year where there's more quarterback talent. So I think you lock up your protection now so you don't have a Joe Burrow ACL situation when you do get your quarterback.
Yeah. Okay. Well, sorry, Josh. We're going.
It's fine. We'll see what happens on draft day. I'll put some bets on Kayvon Thibodeau going.
Cue the pity party.
I would love that because I have to take 5 shots if he makes it out of the top 5.
Actually, never mind. I hope he goes 6.
Not looking forward to that. So now we go to the Jets. The Jets it's an interesting team right here. Wide receiver has been really heavily mentioned for them. A lot of people saying that they could be the ones that end up taking Drake London. I personally cannot see it happening this early. So in my opinion, I picked Kayvon Thibodeau to go to them because although that's not one of probably their major needs on defense, I think that with Robert Saleh being there, I think that he just is a defensive minded coach. And I think he's going to push to get one of the best edge rushers in this class on that team. So what did you all go?
I had Gardner here out of Cincinnati. I think getting that player, that absolute lockdown, like I said with Detroit, that'll help any team. That they're a growing team. They're coming out of their rebuild, but he's the extra piece that they need. A lot of places have Hamilton going here, but they just signed Jordan Whitehead, and he is. I mean, he played his best football as a strong safety, and I think that's what Kyle Hamilton profiles as is more of a.
I'm sorry. Hold on.
Yeah.
Breaking news: Bruce Arians is retiring from coaching.
Wow.
That literally
Brady's
just
going
happened.
to Miami.
Sorry, we're
Brady's
gonna have
going to Miami.
I just want to say I called this. It was Bruce Arians and Tom Brady were not going to be in the same place at the same time. That was not happening. One of those two was going to have to move on. Sorry, I don't mean to kill the draft vibe for a second, but we
screw
just
the draft vibe.
Smidge of it. We're
important.
just going to take a little bit of a time out here because this is huge news. This means that Tom Brady controls the Bucs. Like this is what this means.
This is LeBron.
I told you this was.
I
knew this was going to happen. I thought Tom Brady was going to leave the team, and that's how this was all going to get sorted out. But it turns out Tom Brady comes back, and he forces Bruce Arians' ass out of the coaching. That is
so
crazy.
Just to deflect here a little bit, how does this relate to Antonio Brown's recent blow up on Bruce Arians, where his thoughts were that Arians was trying to make him play injured, and I mean, does that garner some weight now? I mean, obviously Antonio is going to be all over this, but
there was some stuff that happened, like where it was like Bruce Arians was like pushing helmets of players and stuff, and he wasn't always like, a super nice guy on the sideline. And I get all that. Maybe that played in a little part of this.
Do we need a Bruce Arians button now?
I think we do.
I guess we could get one. But yeah, he says he's moving on to the Buccaneers front office. So he's still going to be in the organization. He's just not going to be coaching the team.
So, but does this mean Tom Brady's leaving still?
No, it means he's staying. Like
This
now,
means Byron
I'm
Leftwich
sure
is
he's
going to
staying.
become a head coach.
I think you could probably book that
because Brady and Leftwich are tight. I mean, they're basically the same age at this point, and they've been in the league together. I think he's the big winner of that one.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, that is a very interesting. I feel like our podcast, we talked this out. We thought either Brady was going to leave the Bucs or Bruce Arians was going to have to get out of the building somehow. Tom Brady,
And there he is.
God, he is literally like a gangster, man. If he doesn't want you there, you're gone. And this is just.
I wonder. I'm assuming that's why he retired in the first place, because of Bruce Arians, and then they probably got word that this was happening, and Brady's like, "Okay, I'll come back again."
Yeah.
So he just took LeBron's playbook and copied it.
It did seem very LeBron-y, which I'm not a huge fan of, but
it's been kind of weird, right? That like none of the players that because Brady signed back, and they did end up getting like a couple people to come back, Fournette and a couple others, but they didn't have like a vast majority of people flocking to come be on the Bucs. So I wonder if now
they also didn't have much money either.
Well, that's true too. They didn't really have that much to work with, but okay. Let's transition back into the draft.
All right, back to the draft.
It's just like what was just a crazy breaking story to happen right in the middle of this podcast.
No, that's wild. Well, glad we got to discuss that while we're here. But so my thoughts are, if Kyle Hamilton makes it to the Jets, they absolutely take him. This is where Kyle Hamilton's slide stops. I know that not a lot of safeties get drafted in the first top 5, but I think this is where he's not coming back at 13, so the Jets are grabbing him here or whatever. But 6. 9, 10. Sorry.
So they're going to have 2 strong safeties on the field.
They don't have a strong safety.
Jordan Whitehead. Sign him.
Yeah, that's not.
Where he plays his best ball is by the line. That's where Hamilton plays his best ball too.
I'm just saying I don't see it. I actually originally had Sauce Gardner here, but I'm going to have to since Kayvon did not get picked, I got to go Kayvon here because I think that.
Wow.
I don't think they go corner here. I think they can get. There's three top corners. I think Sauce is clear cut, and I think he'll be gone by the time he gets back to him. But I think they can get Stingley. They could get who's the other guy? McDuffie. Yeah. So I don't see them in desperate need of filling out the defensive back position. I think they grab one no matter what this draft. But I have to go with Kayvon stops the slide. Wow. His talent in college was too much to.
I'm happy that you guys are just letting me have my draft. I love this. It's working out well for me.
I hate it.
All right, Kayvon Thibodeau, welcome to New York. On to the other New York team. For this pick, I have Evan Neal. I don't think that the Giants, their biggest need is O-line. It's one of the worst I've ever seen. And I don't think you can miss on Evan Neal here.
I had Ekonwu.
Okay.
He's gone.
Right. So. He's already drafted, so yeah, we're good.
Okay, Evan Neal.
There's not really much.
I was just messing with you.
There's not really much to talk about there. So we get to the Panthers. You're probably all going to talk me into a quarterback here. I personally think that although they've been very hands-on in the quarterback, they've literally been at every pro day. They've done their own drills. They've gotten all the information. I just think that they're going to take an O-lineman. I know that's a boring pick, but I just think they're going to take Charles Cross and try to get the O-line, and then they're just going to punt on quarterback again this season. I just don't see it, but maybe you all can outvote me on this one.
I have to say fuck your draft, Bill, because this is where it ends. Carolina Panthers will take a tight end in the first round or a quarterback in the first round.
I was about to say, wow.
Kyle Pitts is getting drafted again. Number 6.
About taking safeties high. We're going to throw a tight end.
My bad. No, that's my bad. They are drafting a quarterback. And this is another one where I could see them trading down and getting, Malik or Kenny Pickett here. I originally have Kenny Pickett here from our original draft. I think we all agreed on that. I don't think it changed. The small hands thing, I can see it all day, but there's really only 2, I wouldn't even say immediately startable, but like logical fits for quarterback, and they are desperate. They are not rocking Sam Darnold, and they got to do something. Otherwise, they're going to lose that fan base. They looked freaking terrible last year. Obviously, McCaffrey needs to stay healthy, and they've took strides at that, but there's absolutely no way, in my opinion, they don't get a quarterback in the first round, whether they trade out or grab Pickett right here. So I got Pickett.
No, you hit the nail on the head. They are freaking the hell out at quarterback. They made that boneheaded move for Darnold. They've just literally screwed up the quarterback position. So they take Pickett. He's the most pro-ready quarterback I don't think he's the best quarterback in this class, but he is the most pro ready. So they're going to throw him in there and let it ride.
Yeah, I could see them going Malik Willis, which would be really interesting, but I don't see it for them. I don't think he's the best fit. I think they built around
You could make
the
quite a
Sam
bit of money
Darnold type.
saying Kenny Pickett was going to be the first quarterback taken. I think that the odds of that, like in Vegas right now, like you could probably make a big buck if he ended up being the first quarterback.
Dude, the more I look at this class, the more I think Matt Corral is the best quarterback in this class.
I actually am really excited about Matt Corral.
It's interesting,
but I don't think
his pro day wasn't well, so I don't think that's going to help him.
I think
pro days don't mean shit.
He's the Carson Wentz Trubisky quarterback. Like I don't think he's going to go high, but I think he's that kind of guy where he's going to have the talent. It's just going to take him a little bit of time, and it'd be best if he goes and sits behind someone. Like maybe he goes to Pittsburgh and sits behind Trubisky, which would be ironic because that's who I just brought up. But there's a lot of those like fill-in quarterbacks. Atlanta with Marcus Mariota, Seattle with Drew Lock. I mean, I will get to this in a bit, but I don't know. I just could see Matt Corral doing something, but it'd be best if he got to sit down first, in my opinion. I think Kenny Pickett can start off the bat. I think they're built for that kind of quarterback too.
Okay. Well, Kenny Pickett, you're a Panther.
Yay!
Okay. So we're going back to the Jets, back to the Giants.
Might as well be the Jets.
Joe's Bears decided to give them this pick. So for me personally, I think that I've been swayed by the media, and I'm taking Trayvon Walker here. I think they need an edge rusher. I think that's a very good spot for them. They could get Kayvon Thibodeau if he does happen to fall, but I think that I think Trayvon Walker clearly has done enough in this offseason to upgrade himself, and this is where I have him going.
That's also where I had him going. I don't like it. It's because of the media hype. We originally put Karlaftis in this spot, and I would actually rather him go here. I just don't understand why Trayvon Walker got boosted up like this. So
speaking of Karlaftis, did you see during his pro day, he ran a 4.71, and he did it in like sub-zero temperatures. And I was like, man, Karlaftis, man, that guy is a gamer. Excited to see him. Yeah,
Joe,
exactly.
talk me out of this pick because I really don't want to put.
Okay, so we talk a lot about like square pegs and round holes on this show. I want to talk like the perfect fit in this draft, at least in these first 7 picks. Garrett Wilson to the New York Giants. No, get out of here. They screwed up Galladay. They got a new coaching staff and GM in there, and they're doing everything they can to give Daniel Jones this chance. So they draft their tackle. They get him protected, and then they give him a true weapon on that team. Tony was hurt a ton last year. Galladay ain't shit for that matter. They got your favorite Sterling Shepard in there. But Garrett Wilson comes in to be the true alpha in this offense, and I think it helps them so much to be able to put that on paper there. I think it's Garrett Wilson.
The only thing you got going for you here is that they didn't make any wide receiver signings, at least.
The only thing I have going for me.
No. I just don't see them going back. I mean, the only thing they got going for them is they have 2 draft picks, so it wouldn't be out of the question to go grab a wide receiver, but I just don't like it for them, especially this early. If anything, I think Drake London's probably the number 1 wide receiver off the board at this point. He's a lot bigger than I thought he was. But
here's my thing. What did Dabble watch in Buffalo this whole time? I think it was Stephon Diggs. Garrett Wilson plays a lot like Stephon Diggs. I think he has to see that in his game. And you can kind of make Daniel Jones a very cheap Josh Allen just for the way he plays. So I think you could make it work. I think Dabble sees that, and I think that's what's going to happen, because even if Daniel Jones is not your answer, you have a stud wide receiver there for whoever you bring in next year if you're going to do that.
I just see them going defense here. I don't see them going.
I'm fighting hard for this one, Bill. Back me up, man.
You lost me at wide receiver. If you would have said somebody else, but I think Trayvon Walker is the pick.
Can we put Karlaftis there just because I don't want to put Trayvon Walker this high?
Okay. Are we going for accuracy or are we going for feelings?
I don't think Trayvon Walker deserves this.
I had Walker at 2, so I think transitive property.
All right. Put Trayvon Walker in there. I don't like it, though. I just want to be clear about it.
Awesome.
I was going for accuracy, but I think Karlaftis didn't slip that far.
You guys take the wind right out of my sails. I don't even want to do this anymore.
Okay. Well, now I think we can actually make an argument for a wide receiver here. I think this is Drake London's spot. We got the Falcons at pick 8. I think that this is I in my original sheet I put Treylon Burks, but nobody else likes him. It's the Will Smith. Why don't they like me, man? Like that's kind of what we're going with Treylon Burks here.
Damn.
And
I put London as well, and I think it's a lock. We originally had Malik Willis here, and I just think that. Oh, actually, that's not true. We ended up swapping Malik Willis out of there. I forgot. A couple of us had Malik Willis. I think we got talked out of it in our original rankings, but I have to say Drake London's the number 1 wide receiver off the board. No one really stood out at least, and Drake London looked a lot bigger than I think even anyone thought. I don't know why. I thought he was smaller than that, and I just don't see him not being the number 1 wide receiver off the board.
Yep, I agree. Joe?
Well, I had Kayvon Thibodeau here. I think it makes a ton of sense if he does slip for them to grab him here. Offense has Pitts.
If he makes it to 8,
I think any of the tops like 7, 6, 5, 4, or I guess really 5, 6, 7. If Kayvon Thibodeau makes it to the Giants, they're going to take him at 5. If they don't want him, Carolina's going to take him at 6 unless they go quarterback. And then if he makes it this far, there's no way he doesn't get drafted. This is the furthest he slips.
Yeah, and
I just don't get it in the first
place. All right,
place.
well, we'll go London, and we'll move on. By the way, before we get to the next pick, it looks like Todd Bowles is going to be the coach of the
good for him.
Buccaneers.
Good for Todd Bowles.
So thought it was going to be Leftwich, but I guess not. Interesting. All right, on to Seattle. This is where I think we see Malik Willis. I don't. Is there anybody that disagrees with that here?
I'm just excited for Malik Willis because of DK, and that's about it. So we can move on for that.
I just think that there's no way they don't get a quarterback here. They traded their quarterback for this pick, basically. So I mean, what are you really going to do? So you don't have confidence in Drew Lock.
Can I introduce my the little seed of doubt into it? And I think I texted you all this too when it happened, but they didn't go to any of the QB pro days. Seattle. They had a couple of low-level scouts there, but Pete Carroll didn't go. GM didn't go. Nobody was there, and that concerns me. Thinking that they're going to go quarterback, because when they did the last time they needed a quarterback, the Russell Wilson year, they were at every single QB pro day because they wanted to see what quarterback they liked the most. They identified Russell Wilson as being the guy, which is hilarious because they signed Matt Flynn, but they identified Russell Wilson as being somebody they liked in the 3rd round, and they ended up taking him there. So they were not at any of the pro days. That's interesting.
I mean, there's a chance that they don't take this and this pick right here. It's not like they don't have any picks coming up. So, I mean, and there's a lot of quarterbacks that are going to slip to the 2nd round. Carson Strong, Sam Howell, maybe Matt Corral, maybe Desmond Ridder. I mean, they could like one of them. I mean, but I agree. It's kind of weird they didn't go to any of these pro days. So I just have to think they're buying into the hype of Malik Willis. They saw the Senior Bowl. They're like, yeah, it's a done deal.
They could still very well have him in for a private workout.
That's true.
I mean, Pete Carroll's 76 years old. You got COVID and shit. He might just not be traveling anywhere.
76.
Also, they might not know. They might not have known that the Seattle-Denver trade was going to happen. I mean, they might not have known that. I mean, obviously, it happened.
I mean, they know it now that it happened.
I know, but I mean, they weren't planning for it. They were already, stretched thin. I mean, it's a busy time for coaches at the moment. I mean, they probably didn't. I don't know. Just trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. They're going quarterback. There's no way they don't get a quarterback.
I'm going to put Malik Willis in, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is a 1-year Baker Mayfield prove it deal situation, and they go,
oh my god,
get one next year. Well, what are they going to keep him on the team? I don't know.
They could go for Garoppolo. I guess
they could go for Garoppolo too.
But they don't really.
They're not going to pay Garoppolo.
They can't. Yeah, they can't pay Garoppolo and pay for Garoppolo with all the picks and stuff because they just got all these picks. They got to rebuild.
So I'm going to put Malik Willis down, and we'll move on. Pick 10. We're back to New York. New York just owns this top 10. I don't know if I had completely noticed how many picks they have in the top 10. But Jets' 2nd pick, what do you all think is going to happen?
I had Garrett Wilson here as the 2nd wide receiver off the board because I do think the talent's there. I really wanted to put him in the Houston pick where he was going to go with Cleveland. But I don't think he makes it that far. I think they need another wide receiver on that team. Elijah Moore can't do it by himself. And with Crowder gone. Not that he did anything there really, but I think with 2 top 10 picks, they got to get a wide receiver here.
Yeah, Joe.
I have Jordan Davis going here. I think this
Okay.
makes an absolute ton of sense. I don't think there's been a bigger riser in the draft. You can talk about Trayvon Walker, but I don't think any coach, any scout, any owner was not at the combine watching Jordan Davis do what he did and not just sit back and be like, damn, I want him on my team. He feels a huge need for the Jets down in the trenches, and he continues the rebuild for that defense. I think that would be a massive pick, and it would really shore up that defensive line.
And I had Sauce Gardner going here because I think it'd be criminal for him to make it out of the top 10. Got ourselves an old-fashioned stalemate here with all three of us having a different pick.
You know, I actually had me and Joe both had Sauce Gardner going in the top 5. So
Didn't we both have him to the Jets at 4?
I had him at 4, and you had him. Yeah, we both had him at 4. So I think we could all flip. I think we could flip flop here and put Sauce there because if Sauce makes it this far, I don't think it makes it past this.
Technically, we all had him on the Jets. So
yeah, so
yeah, just different.
just to get rid of that stalemate, it's the Jets. We're not thinking too hard on this one.
Okay, so Gardner. Wow, again, I win again. This is going well for me. My draft looks great.
Shut the hell up.
I only missed 2 so far. That's good. Okay, so now we're at 11 at the Commanders. We originally thought this was a Malik Willis destination, maybe a quarterback of any of the quarterbacks. They still need a quarterback. They got Carson Wentz. That's not going to be the best. Not going to be a long-term answer there, Carson Wentz.
I think this is the best, like you've said, with these teams that are going to just wait to get quarterbacks next year. I think if anything, Washington is like, hey, Wentz, if you suck, we're going to go get your replacement. If you're good, we won't, because we won't have the pick for it. So
I agree with you there.
I would say that this is no longer a quarterback. There's no reason, unless somehow Malik Willis or Kenny, really Malik Willis would have to be there for them to take him. But I don't think they're going to do that to Wentz, which would be hilarious because of his little backup problems. Exactly. I originally had Devin Lloyd here. I think Bill did too.
I had Devin Lloyd.
Yeah, I think the linebacker that for some reason I actually don't agree with this, but this is just what all the people are saying because they want Holcomb.
They didn't like
outside.
Jamin Davis. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Jamin Davis was a miss last year. They picked him at 18.
Well, the reports I'm seeing, they like Cole Holcomb and they like Jamin Davis, but they like them as outside linebackers and they want to get someone true to a middle linebacker. And honestly, that would be a sick if Jamin Davis is even half as good as they thought he was. Those three together, Holcomb is a beast. Jamin Davis might be the worst on that line, which they had high hopes for. So I don't like going back to the board to get another linebacker here, but that's what the pros are saying. And I think Lloyd at this point can't make it any further than this. We originally had him going to Denver before the whole quarterback gate. So,
Joe, who did you pick for 11?
Well, I had Drake London, but you guys had him going to the Falcons at 8. I think getting another receiver to help McLaurin and Curtis Samuel out would be massive. Especially if you're betting the house on Wentz, it wouldn't be the worst way to do that.
We actually don't have Garrett Wilson off the board yet, and I could see this being a Garrett Wilson destination. But
I think wide receiver is where they need to go here.
I agree. It's just for some reason everybody has Devin Lloyd going there. I looked at
they've been drafting defense for the past 5 years. I mean,
their
I don't
defense
know what else
isn't bad either. I mean, Chase Young hasn't turned out to be the superstar that they've hoped for. Jamin Davis was, I can't say a miss because he didn't really get a chance to really show off yet. So I hate the fact that they're going linebacker here. I'm going to flip flop and throw Garrett Wilson in there because I think I already had him gone as well.
And I had him at 7. So
I had him at 10. You had him at 7. Let's flip flop and throw some Garrett Wilson in there.
I feel like we're the only people that will have this pick, so I'm interested to see.
They need to get another wide receiver. I mean, their wide receiver didn't hit last year either. So, I mean, they got McLaurin.
Yeah, they have De'Ami Brown, but
and maybe De'Ami Brown.
And they got Curtis Samuel, who's slowly nursing back to life, but he's not that big play guy that ever happens.
No, it wasn't what they signed him to be, at least. So
okay, well, we'll have Garrett Wilson. It's a shocking pick, I feel like, for the Commanders, but they do it. And
I don't think it's a bad pick. I think wide receiver.
It's not a bad pick. It's probably not. It has to. They're definitely at some point in this draft drafting a wide receiver. The Commanders.
I don't dislike Holcomb as their middle linebacker. Honestly, he's a phenomenal linebacker. I know he's not officially a middle linebacker, but anyway.
Yeah. All right, so on to pick 12, which is the Minnesota Vikings. I think cornerback is what they go here. This is where I've kind of penciled in McDuffie personally. So what did you all have for the Vikings?
I had McDuffie here too. Now he did have a hernia. I don't know if did he have surgery on it, but recently working out, he got a hernia here. So I don't know if that hurts his stock at all. But McDuffie is my pick there. I think it's the perfect fit for the Vikings.
I actually have Evan Neal here. I also have Stingley above McDuffie, not by much, but is Evan Neal still on the board right now?
No.
Or did we draft him?
Number 5.
Oh, we did draft him. Okay. Yeah, I think it'd be criminal if he made it past this, but I just couldn't find a spot for him.
If Evan Neal made it to 12,
I just see them rebuilding that and then getting.
I don't want to put a shot bet on anything, but if he made it past,
I would absolutely. If he made
it to the top 10.
Yeah, I'm down with the corner. I originally had Stingley going a little bit before McDuffie, but pick one. You know what I mean?
Okay. Well, we're gonna go McDuffie. Me and Joe are ruling this one. Okay. So now Houston made the trade for Deshaun Watson, they traded away Deshaun Watson and got the 13th pick since the last time that we did this exercise. My pick for this was going to be Drake London because I think wide receiver might be a position they go for. I'm open to listening to anyone's what they want to do here because they do need a lot of different things. So what do you all think?
Josh, you're going to have to convince him because I had Kyle Hamilton slide ending right here.
Oh no, I actually had Charles Cross here, and didn't we give him? We gave them a Conwu, right?
Yes, we did. So they would not be.
So I don't have an argument for this one either. But Drake London's not there, so I mean,
would they go double?
Hey, if we're bailing on Lloyd,
I could see Karlaftis here. I could make the argument for that.
If we're bailing on Lloyd, wouldn't that be a good spot? For
Lloyd
him?
would be a good spot for them actually, but I feel bad for Lloyd.
Yeah,
I do too.
They did re-sign what's his face, Cunningham or
re-sign Grugier Hill to a
they cannot. They're not taking a linebacker. There's no way. They signed all those linebackers.
No. Cunningham's in Tennessee.
Yeah, no, that was my bad.
No,
Cunningham was there.
But they signed 2 more, right? Because they got Neville Hewitt.
They got Kirksey, Neville Hewitt, and Grugier Hill. So I mean, it would be an upgrade for them, but I don't see it. I think defensive line, I would say Karlaftis here.
Okay. Well, what about Stingley? Would that not be interesting for them to maybe get a cornerback? They haven't really had a good one in a while.
They have a over-the-hill Desmond King that they got in free agency. But I don't think that's really – oh, no, they did re-sign him, actually. I mean, I could see wide receiver here. This is just – I mean, I don't have anything, so – what do you guys think? I don't
Joe,
know.
what do you want to do? We'll go with Joe's decision. He can make this decision.
What do I want?
Yes.
What receiver did you have there, Bill?
London.
Well, I originally had London, but it could be Burks.
Jameson Williams.
Or Olave.
Yeah.
I can see them going wide receiver.
Williams would actually make a ton of sense because they know they're not competing. Even though he said he'd be ready for training camp, I think give him some time to heal. There's not a lot of pressure on him to do anything right away. And then
that's true. And not to mention they're not doing anything this year anyway. This would be a future signing. And
right, so
you're already getting a discounted Jameson Williams.
Is that where we're gonna go?
Let's go with it.
Okay.
Let's give them some offensive weapons, man. They're struggling right now. This
has to be a rarity. Okay, so now pick 14 is the Baltimore Ravens. Defense is still an issue for them. I could see them potentially trying to bolster the wide receiving core. I know that they kind of like the group they have in there right now, but if you introduce a Burks or Olave or somebody into that mix, I could definitely see that. But
I can't say that this is where they're going to go. I think they're going defense. I think I originally had who did I have? Oh, I had Stingley going here, but that was before McDuffie.
I have Stingley going here too.
So I would be fine with Stingley here, which I'm not saying it's a bad pick. I just think that it's just kind of sad for the Ravens.
Fair enough.
We originally had Charles Cross going here, by the way, so that wouldn't be a bad pick either.
I have Jermaine Johnson the second going here.
Ooh, okay.
I think they missed out on Zadarius Smith. They need some attitude on the edge there. So I think that would be the perfect spot to bolster that defense.
Do they go Stingley or Johnson?
Now, if Jordan Davis, did we already pick him?
No, he's still floating.
He was my number 10.
That would be a sick pick right there. I think I had him at like 17 going to the Chargers, which I also really like.
Yeah, that's what I have him going to.
But I could see Jordan Davis being a solid pick for them because that line needs a little bit of work. It's not bad. It just needs a little bit more. So I do agree on the defensive line. I don't like a corner for them anymore, although I picked one for them.
I just don't know where Stingley cannot. I mean, then he's probably ended up on the Eagles, Josh, if they go.
Oh, we'll talk about that in a second.
At the owners' meeting, John Harbaugh was talking about, fingers crossed on Calais Campbell, so they're hoping to bring him back. I like Jordan Davis, man. I had him at my 10 pick.
They still got Marcus Peters and Humphrey. I just don't.
I think Jermaine Johnson makes a ton of sense here.
All right, we'll go Jermaine Johnson. I don't.
We got to give him a D line. Their D line is pretty rough right now. So
okay, so now we find ourselves at the Eagles. They have 3 picks within the next 5.
Let me just go ahead.
Josh, just start off.
All right, so this is what's going to happen. The Eagles are going to do what they do every year. They're going to draft a wide receiver and a cornerback because we can't figure out how to draft a wide receiver. I actually had Jameson Williams falling here, and then we're going to grab him, and then McDuffie, which are both gone. But Stingley's still here, so I think we can all just agree that they're going to draft a corner. They did nothing with Steven Nelson. I really wanted them just to re-sign Steven Nelson. We have a lot of young talent, Zach McPherson and a couple other guys that are young guys who are going to probably be good, but like they're going to want that for sure thing. And we have 3 first-round picks and we need a second corner. So go ahead and put Stingley on the board. I know you guys have no disagreements.
I don't.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
My argument for D-line and linebacker is kind of moot now because of what they've done. They brought back Derek Barnett, and it wasn't even the Hassan Reddick thing. I would have loved. They originally were David Ajabo all over that, but he got injured.
I had Carl Loftus going. So
I actually had Carl Loftus going here as well originally, and then I changed it because what they did when they signed Derek Barnett. They still got Graham. They got Barnett. They got Hassan Reddick, and they got Josh Sweat. There's no way they go D-line. I wish they would. I wish someone good would fall here and we could just go D-line, but we already spent enough money on it, so it's not going to happen. So I have a wide receiver going here. I don't know what's left. What we got, Burks probably.
I think
Devin Lloyd.
I think Devin Lloyd, if he falls this far, the Eagles would be
I agree, but I just don't. I just disagree that he'll make it this far. Personally, I mean,
well,
I'm down to put him here.
This is the draft as it's happening, Josh. You're just gonna have to play with the rules.
We can do whatever we want.
I just don't see us doing it because of what we did with Kaiser White.
Kaiser White is a hybrid safety linebacker guy.
Still
He's never proven to be
I know. Trust me, I would love Devin Lloyd.
Dude.
I would love
Devin
Lloyd.
Lloyd.
We don't sign good linebackers though, so that's the problem.
We're gonna tie you to a chair and make the pick. All right. So now we go to the Chargers at pick 17. I'm pretty sure Jordan Davis all the way around here. If he falls,
I think we all put that.
If he's still there, we have to take him because I had him at 10. But I had Nakobe Dean in this spot. I think getting rid of Kaiser, you pair him with Murray there, and I think that's a pretty sick combo. But
actually, I didn't even think about Kaiser White being gone there. If the Eagles didn't take Lloyd, he's going right here. There's no way he makes it any further. But I actually have Jordan Davis here because that interior line, that line would be scary with Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis is a scary pick right here.
Yeah. Okay. Jordan Davis to the Chargers. That defense is going to be nasty next year. Jordan Davis, he is one of my favorite players in this draft. I can't wait. If he gets on that team, that is going to be such a good defense. But on to pick 18, we got the Saints. They obviously need a quarterback. They did sign back Winston, but I don't think it's a first round kind of pick for them. I think they might go somebody later, maybe Bailey Zappi, me and Joe's guy. So
Eat the cheeseburger.
I went ahead. Yeah. I went ahead and picked Olave here for my choice. I think wide receivers, they don't have a number 1 wide receiver still. They still don't have one unless Michael Thomas comes back. But if Michael Thomas doesn't come back, they're going to need somebody. I think Chris Olave makes a lot of sense here. He's been rising in a lot of boards. What did you guys think?
I actually had Garrett Wilson going here, but that he's long gone. I had Olave going to the Eagles here. So wait,
I'm going to throw a curveball at you.
Oh, okay.
I got Desmond Ridder going in this spot. I think for
Wow.
pure
Okay.
athleticism, I mean, we saw what happened with Trey Lance last year. Desmond Ridder's kind of in that same kind of boat right there. I think you start Winston this year. You bring Desmond Ridder along, coach him, teach him up. I think that would be a home run pick for the Saints. It is a bit of a reach, but you need a quarterback. Get your quarterback, and he's got some of the best upside in this class.
and by the way, Billy, you're a damn liar. You had Garrett Wilson. I had Olave going here. So, but it's just the Ritter.
you're
The
right.
Ritter pick is.
But Garrett Wilson's gone, so Olave would make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay, well so here's a perfect example of why we do these exercises. Charles Cross cannot go past past the Saints. They literally just lost whatever that guy's name is that went to Miami. Charles Cross could fit right in to where he left his spot in the O-line. Charles Cross is the pick here.
Yeah, we all had Cross along. Actually, no, that's not true. Joe's got him coming up in a couple picks. So
Charles Cross is the pick. Let me. I feel like I need to just get it out there. They're going to take Charles Cross if he's available at 18.
I don't know. Saints need a wide receiver, man, and they don't know what's going on with Michael
They also
Thomas.
need
O-line. I get that, but
Saints need a fucking quarterback.
They need a quarterback too.
Well,
so
yeah, but Winston is there on a 2-year deal, so they're not going to worry about it this year.
I say we stick with the 2 pick. We got Olave there. I'm not flip flopping.
Okay, we can go with Olave, but Charles Cross is not making it this far.
Cross is making it here in a second. We got it.
Okay, I'm just saying in the real draft, there's no way this is going to happen. I know we're going for accuracy here.
Air raid offense, man.
All right, so there's no way the Eagles.
Charles Cross going to fall.
Now that we're back to the Eagles, there's no way the Eagles don't go with a wide receiver. So I think this is where Treylon Burks goes.
It's a good pick.
Okay, yeah.
Because then we already put Jameson Williams up there. I would say that Jameson Williams would be there. If they went with a wide receiver in the 19th pick, that's where they would do it. But there's no way the Eagles don't make it out of the first round with a wide receiver. We have to have one.
Okay, well, you're going to end up with the best one, so that's good for the Eagles. Picking
I like London. If we could get London, I'd be a lot happier. But
okay, well, now we're on to the Steelers at pick 20. I'm guessing this is where you all have.
This is where Cross goes.
Where Charles Cross goes.
Joe actually had Charles Cross going here, and me and Billy both had Trevor Penning. So I think we're pretty all on point. If Charles
Cross is not making it this far, but if he does, he's got to go. Okay, so that brings us to the Patriots at pick 21. I have them going wide receiver. I thought Jameson Williams, but we've already picked him, so we're gonna have to audible a little bit.
I have Karlaftis going here. I
had Derek Stingley, so
also gone. So
yeah,
I'm not saying Karlaftis it is, but they have no
need for them.
Defensive line. So I think that this is a steal. I mean, Judon's kind of outside linebacker, and that's what they got going for them at this point. Nothing else.
They got rid of Winovich, and they really haven't replaced him with anything. So I like Karlaftis here.
Okay.
Give him some nasty.
Look at us agreeing. Look at us agreeing. Look at us.
Our boy George. Okay, so now we're into wide receiver. Like this everybody after this, you could argue for a wide receiver going to the team. But the Green Bay Packers, in my original pick, I had them taking a tackle because I don't think any of the wide receivers left at this point.
I had Burks going here, so I don't think Sky Moore goes this high.
I have Sky Moore going a little bit later in this first round.
I do too, but not here.
Christian Watson is the pick, and let me tell you why.
Lord, you think Christian Watson's going to make it up this far?
Who remaining in this draft here profiles as a true one that is besides Christian Watson?
Wow.
He was dominant. Go watch his tape, guy. He was ridiculous. I think he jumps up and shocks the world. Green Bay is going to take him at 22.
Wow. Okay. Josh, do you want to let this madman have the wheel, or you want to let him?
I agree that they need a wide receiver. I just think that we burned through our receivers too quickly because we're so offensive minded. But I don't like it.
What don't you like about it?
Okay.
I'm not saying he's bad. I just don't think that this is the pick
This
here.
dude is straight dominant. He's 2'5", 208. I don't know what he weighed in at the combine at. He doesn't replace Devontae Adams, but you got to have someone of that stature playing that role, and no one left in this up here that we have remaining.
I don't even have Christian Watson listed. I just don't see them grabbing him here. I'm sure they could figure something out.
Christian Watson is going in the first round of this draft. I'm just letting you guys know.
I love you, Joe. We'll circle back. We'll circle back to the Packers taking Christian Watson. How about
Joe or Billy? You have Raymond here, so
yes, and I think that this is the pick. They have 2 picks in the first round. This is what their first pick's going to be. So we'll circle back, Joe. Don't worry. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to the Cardinals. Pick 23. I think this would be a good spot for Trevor Penning, but I could also see them going Devontae Wyatt here. Linderbaum makes a lot of sense as well. What do you guys think?
I had Andrew Booth going here. I think they need a corner. I think that defense.
I
needs
agree, but
help.
Andrew Booth had surgery yesterday, and I don't.
Oh.
I think that's killing. That's going to kill his stock a little bit.
That was a little bit before me. Then
sorry, Booth is the guy that had the hernia. Not
yes.
myself.
Okay.
Not
yeah.
yeah.
It was Booth that had the hernia. He got surgery yesterday, I think, which he should be fine from, but I think that might hurt him a little bit. So, Joe, who did you have going? The Cardinals.
I had Kenyon Green here. I think the way he moves and his agility, he's very versatile on the line. And what we saw last year is that line needs everything they can do because you have to build a wall around Kyler Murray. He's not going to be able to produce without that kind of protection.
So I actually would make the argument because I had Linderbaum going to the Eagles because they've been tied to him because Kelsey's last year is most likely this year. I don't see him making it much further than this because he can play guard as well. So Linderbaum would make a great fit as well for the Cardinals, but
Rowan Linderbaum.
Yeah. Okay. Man, doesn't want to talk about it anymore.
It's Billy's draft, man. We're just talking.
I didn't have Linderbaum going here, so
there's no way Linderbaum makes it past this. I think the Eagles grab him, honestly.
I think they need that O-line for Kyler. Linderbaum, I think, was the best one left. But
you guys talked to me into Lloyd with the Eagles because I wanted so badly. I don't think it'll happen.
I can get on board with Linderbaum. I just picked Green because he can play center, he can play guard, he can play tackle.
Okay, so with the Cowboys pick at 24, I have them shocking the world and going to Kobe Dean.
It's not shocking the world. I think we all have it.
Oh, do we? Oh,
no, never mind. So Joe had Linderbaum actually going there. So I don't even think it's shocking the world anymore. I just think that they just don't know what they want anymore. So
back-to-back linebackers, man.
Yeah, the only thing that's cool about it is if they went with Dean here, they could utilize Parson as an edge rusher, which would be really fun. But I don't like.
They can use Dean as an edge rusher too. They could have a really crazy combo going on there.
So, I don't think Dean has the physical prowess that Parsons has, though.
He's got the speed.
He's got the speed. He could be fun off the outside, but it would be more of like a extra blitz more so than straight up defensive end.
So is there any argument for them going offensive line here, like where we think Dean's obviously I think the splashier pick here, but
I can see Trevor Penning. We had Penning going. I think we all had Penning going before this, except for maybe Joe. Or Joe had Penning.
I don't have Penning on.
He's like, I don't like Penning.
I don't have Penning in the first round anymore, which I used to. Oh no, I do. I have him at the Steelers. So
I can see them going offensive line, but for some stupid reason, I think they're going to go with Nakobe Dean. It's just been tied to him.
All right, Dean it is. All right, next wide receiver hungry team is the Buffalo Bills at 25. There's a chance they could go D-line. I could see them maybe doing that. They don't really need anything. Like that's the good thing about the Buffalo team. What do they need?
They need a running back. They did absolutely nothing in the running back field. This is where the running back goes. They got Duke Johnson, Devin Singletary, and Zach Moss, who they obviously hate. Duke Johnson has just been hated by every team since they've had, and nobody feels sound about Devin Singletary. What they're going to do is they're going to go get Najee Hall right here, right now. This is the one. This is the
Breece Hall.
Breece Hall. Najee Harris Hall. That's my bad.
Najee Hall, baby.
I started mixing my thoughts. This is going to be the Najee Harris pick. Nobody saw that one coming. Yeah, that's my bad. But Breece Hall right here. There's no other pick that they have here. I had Sky Moore going a couple picks later. I saw you put Sky Moore there.
I did.
Joe, who you got? Zion Johnson. I don't see them going guard. They're not going for this. They're going for the splashy pick.
Okay,
They're
you
going
just
for
dismiss Joe's pick. Like, no,
no,
they're not going.
They're
no,
not going for either one of those. They're gonna get Breece Hall here, and I will fireball bet this right now on this podcast.
You know what?
Okay, fireball bet.
Just for the, I'm pretty sure we did this the last time with a fireball bet and the exact same thing. But you know what? Just to appease your insanity, we'll pick a running back here.
All right,
Oh.
I'm not going to bet that it's Breece Hall because I don't know if it's going to be Spiller or not. But my
It
bet
ain't gonna
is
be
that it's
Spiller.
Breece
Dude,
Hall.
can you
for
imagine
that,
if
but-
Buffalo Bills picked
Chance
Spiller
Walker.
again because they had CJ
Hey,
Spiller,
they might.
and
they
then
might,
now they
dude.
had Spiller. Everybody just
Isaiah
dusts off
Spiller.
their CJ Spiller jerseys and wears
Hell
them.
yeah,
again.
pick the same number, dog.
Okay, so we're going Breece Hall. Sorry,
There's
folks
no
out
way
there.
a running back does not go in the first round. That is my
So,
fireball.
I
bet.
have money on it. So I would love for it to happen.
I'm just gonna say Christian Watson for every pick from now on because
Oh my God, here we
Who's
go.
Christian
Well,
Watson?
we're about to have a run here, and we'll see. All right, so before we get to the wide receiver teams, we got the Tennessee Titans. I think O-line would be the pick here because they have a terrible one. So Trevor Penning just makes sense, guys, right?
I'm thinking Smoke Monday goes here. You know Smoke on Monday? No, I'm just kidding. I actually just love that guy's name. I actually had
Zion Johnson could work too.
I had Raymond going here. I think they go offensive line.
Okay, other than Christian Watson, Joe, who do you have the Titans picking?
Boye Mafe, because he's an
Ooh.
absolute stud. You can get him in that defensive end, outside linebacker role. I think he did do a little bit of coverage in college, but he can put his hand in the dirt and absolutely get after them. They lost I'm sorry. But he can slot right in there, and I think he can make a lot of noise on that defense that has Jeffrey Simmons up the middle. I think that would be a huge signing.
Okay.
That'd be nasty.
We'll let Joe have his Boye Mafe. I think that's a good pick for them.
I don't know. I feel like we're going for accuracy here, not just for fun, right?
Well, that's true, but we did take a running back.
Running back's happening.
Okay, so on to the Bruce Arians-less Buccaneers with pick 27. I think wide receiver would be the like flashy pick here, but I think they go O-line and they pick Zion Johnson or Trevor Penning. What say you all? Well,
I could get down with either one of those.
Joe's picking Christian Watson, but I don't think
Christian Watson's the pick. No, I had Jahan Dotson here. I think, Christian Watson's comp that you keep hearing is directly Mike Evans. I mean, that's kind of what everyone's kind of seeing. So
I just think
that would be
with them signing Russell Gage. Even I just don't think it's going to be
think
their
they can
first
go wide
round.
receiver.
They will at some point in the draft, but they will not do it in the first round. I don't think.
I actually think this is Devontae Wyatt, because that defensive line has fallen off a cliff. Pierre-Paul and Sue are not signed at the moment. It's Vita Vea and Golston. I understand those are kind of both defensive tackle type, but I think the three of them together could create a really cool 3-4 or 4-3 defense. No, 3-4. I was right. So I like Devontae Wyatt there, and I think he's slipped far enough. That's my pick. But I could see them going offensive line as well.
Wyatt or Zion Johnson?
God, I guess we go Zion Johnson just because they lost Kappa, and Josh is right. Vita Vea and them all kind of play the same position, so I think it would just be depth if anything. So I'll go Johnson.
Okay, back to the Packers. All right, Joe. Lay out your case one more time. Pick 28. Pick 28 is the Green Bay Packers. Obviously, they had the pick earlier with the Devontae Adams trade. This is their second pick, which is their actual pick. Go ahead, Joe. Make your case one more time for Christian Watson.
Kyler Gordon. I'm just
Kyler. Okay. I was
fuck that. It's Christian Watson, man. Get him on the Packers. I will cry if Christian Watson goes to the Packers as a Bears fan, because I don't want to have to watch this for the next 4 years that Rodgers is in Green Bay, but yeah, it fits perfectly. It's immediate upgrade. Get him.
Don't worry. I don't think that's the problem. I think there's no way he goes in the first round, so he won't go to the Packers.
He's going in the first round.
Jahan Dotson goes to Green Bay here.
Yeah, I had George Pickens going here myself.
Keep scrolling for Christian Watson. Oh, there he is, 74, third rounder. Nice.
You're gonna trust this bullshit right here, Josh? Is that where you get your data from?
No, but I'll trust my college stats, and Jahan Dotson had a way better senior year than Watson did.
We'll pick Watson.
He's wrong. Why are we leaning into wrong data?
Well, they're not. I don't think they're going to go Dotson because Dotson's a 5'11" possession receiver.
It doesn't matter. They need best talent available, and that's what they're getting.
But Dotson's not going to be the number one wide receiver there. That's not going to happen. He's going to be a good depth position for somebody. Not depth, but just different role, like a slot receiver. And
I have to disagree with you there. Joe, you want to make a fireball bet that Christian Watson does not go in the first round?
Yes, they do.
Okay. Well, we'll pick Watson, and we'll see what happens. All right, so we're at the Chiefs. They have back-to-back picks coming up here. They obviously got this pick from the Miami Dolphins because of Tyreek Hill now living in South Beach. So I think they immediately pick a replacement up. I don't think that it's going to be somebody flashy. I picked Jahan Dotson here. I picked Andrew Booth originally, but with the injury, I don't think they're going to pick him. So I think they're going to go Jahan Dotson. What do you all think?
So there's 2 picks in a row. I had Jermaine Johnson and Sky Moore going here, but I also had Dotson off the board. So I'd be okay with Dotson, and I believe Jermaine Johnson's gone. So
yeah, he is.
Pick a replacement.
So Sky Moore or Dotson, Joe, what are you thinking?
I had Dotson. Well, I had Dotson to Tampa Bay, so I'll put him there. And then I did have Booth Jr. too going to them. So I'm going to bump Kyler Gordon up 1 into that spot. And they're going to get themselves a cornerback.
Okay, and so the next pick, man, I think it's going to be a cornerback.
We don't have Booth off the board yet? Why is Booth not going there?
Because, man, do you listen to the podcast?
I know, but it's the end of the first round. Do you think that he's really going to slip that far?
Possibly, because this is about the position I thought he was going to go anyway. So I feel like if he was going to slip, this would be the slip.
That is fair. We did actually have Booth going to the Chiefs at 30, so that's fair. That's fair. In our original mock. So,
can we let Devontae Wyatt out of the first round?
No, absolutely
because he's not going to the Bengals for sure.
Well, I had Zion Johnson going to the Bengals, so
Bengals are probably going to go.
I guess Trevor Penning's still there for some reason.
All right, I think the Chiefs go Wyatt then. If Wyatt falls this far, that's probably where they go.
I agree. They lost Melvin Ingram. Not that he ever did anything anyway. But
all right, and then Bengals O-line is obviously the biggest need there, even though they've bolstered it. So Penning would probably be the pick.
Yeah, I think they still go with that.
Which leads us to the end of the first round.
David Ojabo.
I saw Joe had him. I had Kenny Pickett because I couldn't get a quarterback to go any higher. So
I had Sam Howell.
All the way to that.
I think Sam Howell, there's no way he makes it past this. The Lions have 2 picks. If they don't trade that first pick down to get a quarterback, this is where they go with Sam Howell. I don't think there's any way that they escape it. They got to get something.
Like, as you can see on the board, the next pick after them is the Jaguars, and then they pick again. I think they're going to go quarterback with that next pick.
That's fair. That is fair.
So, Joe, I think you might be right. I think David Ojabo makes a lot of sense here.
It would make a ton of sense because they get a free year of him by taking him in the first round.
Well, he was like a top 15 prospect before the injury, the Achilles injury. We don't know that he's going to come back 100%. It's probably going to make a lot of people nervous to take him that high, but
this could also be Booth if we're talking about injured people.
Dude, he's a Michigan guy. Detroit's familiar with him. I think you give him the year that you get for free by taking him in the first round to recover, and then you have a top 15 player for 4 more years on your team.
As long as we agree that Sam Howell goes to the Lions in 2 picks, I'm okay with whatever you guys choose.
I think that is because then they can get Sam Howell even cheaper because he'll be a 2nd-round pick. I think that would make the most sense.
That's actually fair because there's no way the Jaguars are like, yeah, let's give up on Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah,
I didn't even think about them having the 2nd pick whenever I
I didn't think about it until I saw it on here. And I was like, it makes more sense because they're not going to take the Jaguars need a whole hell of a lot of other things, and they don't need a quarterback. So I think Ojabo's the pick.
And there we go.
Okay. That's the end of the end of the draft, even though I accidentally clicked 2 rounds instead of 1. So
you'll have to click through the last round.
Yeah, for sure. So here's kind of what we're looking at with people left over. So there's a lot of cornerbacks still on the board. Andrew Booth is going to be a solid pick in the second round. Sam Howell, we kind of have going there. Sky Moore has been trending upwards. I could definitely see him sneaking into the first round. But there's not a lot of Kenyon Green. That was a big one.
There's a
That
decent
lot
amount of
people,
quarterbacks that will probably go in the second round, though. We got Desmond Ritter, who didn't make it.
yeah,
Matt Corral.
Ritter, Corral.
Who's the other guy? There's
Man, I
another
forgot
one.
his name.
Yeah, exactly.
Carson Strong.
He's down.
There you go.
Carson Strong, yeah. And then the tight ends, Windermeyer, or whatever his name is.
Yeah,
Wiedermeyer. So
He
there's a
didn't
few tight
go.
ends that'll be going second round. That'll be fun to see for fantasy purposes. There's a few more good wide receivers that'll make it. George Pickens,
Pickens,
Joe's
Tolbert,
favorite
Ross.
guy.
This guy right here is going to be a sneaky pick. He tested in like the 99th percentile, and like I think that's the good thing. Is it good if you're in the 99% or the 1%?
The podcast listeners don't know.
But he tested. Oh, Alec Pierce is been a guy that a lot of people have been mentioning from Cincinnati. I definitely could see him sneaking up and being a very sneaky fantasy relevant. That could be a good pick for the Packers as well if they don't end up going with that in the first round, even though Joe's convinced Christian Watson's going.
And then there's the running backs, Spiller. If Breece Hall doesn't get picked, I doubt he will make it to the second round. But and then our boy Kenneth Walker, who's also arguably the number one running back off the board. So it'll be interesting to see where these guys go. Where hopefully they land in nice landing spots where they are fantasy relevant and they can thrive. But we'll see, man. I'm looking forward to the draft. I'm looking forward to Billy potentially taking 5 fireball shots, me taking a couple, Joe maybe taking one. Right at the end.
It will not be back to back to back to back to back. I can promise you that. It'll be spread out.
It's got to be throughout the night, though.
Well, yeah, it will be by the end of the night. We might even put like a little counter up in the corner of like shots Billy's taking because of Kayvon.
Billy's fireball shots.
But guess what? Stupid. I'm going to sprinkle some money on the Kayvon Thibodeau to go over 5. So, if I lose, I'm actually going to win at the same time. So
that's the best way to do it.
I'll be more than happy against my team. I'll be more than happy to take those shots if I have a little cash in my pocket as well. So, okay. Well, that wraps up Mock Draft 2.0. A lot of changing. I don't really see many more dramatic changes happening in the first round. There could be a couple of deals where maybe they package a couple of first-round picks to get something else. But for the love of God, NFL, please just slow down. We've had a lot in the last 2 weeks in terms of free agency, trades I never even thought would happen. So
this last week was pretty mild, other than Tom Brady forcing Bruce Arians out on the air today. So
yeah, that was who would have thought something like that would happen in the middle of the podcast taping, but it did. So I'm glad that we were here to talk about it and break it down in real time. So, all right. Live draft coverage will be happening the Thursday night of the first round. Be here for that. There will be a giveaway. We'll have more details on that as we go along here. So, with that being said, Joe, get us out of here.
Guys, it has been fun talking to you tonight, and I look forward to talking to you next week. Possums, stay lit.